Good afternoon, Exiles. I got these boxes, they're just cheap plywood boxes from a place down the street from where I work. They get their parts from China in them. And what I'm doing with them is putting compost in them. I already started putting compostable stuff in these three here last fall before it got too cold. Filling up the fourth one, and these will be the garden beds for my late wife's aunt whose property I stay at. And these are composted really nice, good in here. They've sunk down. So what we're doing today is getting this box finished. It's behind me. I'll show you what I did for the other three. Get it full of composting stuff. Add a little bit more composting to these, and then we gotta get potting soil or garden soil or something like that on top of them. And these boxes are gonna rot out. But they only have to make it through this summer, because over the course of the summer I'm going to wrap this whole thing in Tyvek and then put like landscaping timbers or 2x6 or something to make the prettier raised bed garden with. And the Tyvek will keep the moist soil, garden soil, off the landscaping timbers so they don't rot out. So this is just a temporary structure to get us started, and we don't care if it rots out. Alright, so the first thing we gotta do is drill some holes in here in the bottom to let water in and out and to let soil life in and out. That way it's connected to the earth, to the rest of the soil around here, because one of the most important things, if not the most important thing for your garden, is the soil life. Fungus, bacteria, protozoans, all kinds of, those are the micro things, and you have all kinds of macroscopic tiny organisms. But worms and nematodes and all that, your plants will die without all those. So let's drill some holes. So just got a 1-inch spade bit. The holes don't have to be pretty, and just spaced out so often like that throughout the whole thing. On the other ones I removed these feet, but this one sat all winter with nothing in it, and the feet just sunk into the ground. So I don't think replacing the feet's necessary, or ripping off the feet's necessary. Waste of time. We'll see what happens with this one versus the other ones. We started putting these in last fall. I put through this irrigation tubing for drip irrigation, and went ahead and put it through the first box, and it buried down here and comes out underneath the box. That way I can get to it. And this will go all the way across here for drip irrigation. And then I'm gonna run the line from here down over to the fence. Might eventually hook it to a IBC tote for automatic watering. And with rainwater, that'll be a different project for a different time. What I'll probably do is quickly just run it closer to the house so we can hook a garden hose to it and just have a timer that turns on and waters it automatically. Because both me and Rhonda will have a hard time remembering to do watering and stuff like that. So we're trying to automate it. Automation helps a lot with busy lives. That's why I did my last video on like me cooking in the break room and using an electric pressure canner and stuff like that to help automate my life. So I'm gonna automate some of the gardening too. We went down to the city compost place where people drop off their unwanted yard waste and stuff, and got a bunch of free mulch. This is the only mulch I use. I don't buy it in bags. That's a waste of money. And got grass clippings, old rotted grass, rotted leaves, and all that stuff. We put all the lighter stuff on first, then threw the mulch on so all this doesn't fly out when we're driving. And when we shovel it into the boxes, that'll get it all mixed up so it'll compost evenly. Ideally, you want an even amount of wet green stuff. I should be careful with that. There's a milk thistle in there. But anyway, you want an even amount of green stuff, high nitrogen, and brown stuff, which is high carbon. And it doesn't have to necessarily be brown to be high carbon or green to be high nitrogen. Chicken poop is very high in nitrogen. If you pee on your garden, that's high nitrogen too. Don't necessarily recommend that. But as we shovel this in, that'll get all mixed up. And we could have put more on here. Could have put a tarp in here, made less trips. but I like doing it in a few trips with smaller loads. That way it gets mixed up as you shovel it back and forth. It's easier than trying to mix it up as you load it or unload it when it's a big pile. So that's how much that pile on the trailer filled up. You can see a little bit better in the height there. We need more in there, and we need to finish filling these up and throw some worms in there. But for now, we're going to call it quits and do some indoor projects. Because I don't know if you can see the sky over there, but it's not looking friendly. So let's get everything put away and the trailer done and stuff before we start raining too bad. So in the future, I'll probably make a part 2 of finishing filling these and everything, and then a part 3 about putting the landscaping timbers and stuff on the outside. So that's going to be it for now. Thank you for joining me on the journey to use God's gifts to grow His kingdom, prepare for the future, and live a better life.